Welcome to the Mystic Media channel. I'm your host, Rabina Rastaban, aka the Realist Astrologer, and this is one of the free readings for the month of May. So, one of my subscribers sent me an email and she said it was okay for me to use her name, so I'm just going to read her email. Hi, Rabina, I'm Zia. I've been subscribed to your YouTube channel for about 2 years, and I absolutely love your channel. I'm addicted. I'm a Cancer female with a Sagittarius moon. I was born on June 30th, 1996 at 1:05 a.m. in Kaduna, Nigeria. Not sure if you'll even see this, but I wanted to know why I kept attracting unavailable men. I promise I'd get out of my current relationship with a Sag, but with my Pisces Aries ascendant, I'm not sure if I'll have the willpower. Don't get me wrong, I'm very strong, but I'm also an empath, always trying to heal others while damaging myself. Anyway, I'd appreciate any insight you gave me on that. Thanks again for the work you do. Peace and blessings. Well, thank you, Zia. And first, I just want to wish you a happy birthday in advance because your birthday's coming up. So I hope you have a wonderful birthday and an even better year. And your birth number of 30 is very telling because 30 is the number of the loner. So a large part of your life will be spent alone, or if you insist upon being with others, you could end up attracting the wrong type of people simply because you need somebody in your life. So it really pays to be very selective in terms of who you decide to be with. Otherwise, it's just better being alone. Now, your life path is a 29, and that 29 is very challenging. It's the most challenging number of them all. And that's a number of internal and external conflict. It can often produce love triangle situations. It often results in interference from a third party, a great deal of insecurity, feeling like you're under a lot of pressure. And also, it can deal with situations that lead to abuse, that also lead to situations where there's always some type of trade off, always some type of undesirable trade off that goes on. Now, let's get into your chart because your chart is very telling as well. So, we have to start with your nodes, because if you've been watching my videos, you'll know that I'm always talking about the North Node and the South Node because they are the basis for what happens in your life. So your South Node is at the 12th degree of Aries and it's conjoined to Saturn. So that exacerbates the negative traits of Aries. It basically makes your ego very hardened. You're coming from a past life of being very selfish, being very egotistical, being hypersexual, even being someone that always had to come first, that always had to be the winner, being ultra competitive, all that good stuff. So you might have even been a male in a lot of your past lives as well. So in this current lifetime, you have to be more relationship oriented per the Libra North Node. However, your North Node is conjoined to Chiron. And that's the really telling part because you did mention, let me just read what you said. You said, but I'm also an empath, always trying to heal others while damaging myself. So that would be that Chiron conjoined to the North Node. So Chiron is the healer, but it's the wounded healer. And also Chiron is opposing Saturn. It's opposing the Aries South Node. So this can deal with you getting with men who are broken in some way, who need to be fixed, who need to be mended, but you end up getting wounded in the process. And then to add insult to injury, your Chiron is opposed to the asteroid Juno, and Juno deals with the main challenges in your relationships. So with Chiron opposed to Juno, it's exactly how you say it. You have a desire to heal people what ails them, but you end up getting hurt in the process. So that's exactly what that Chiron opposition Juno is stating. It's also pointing to you getting with men who expect you to make exceptions for their bad behavior. They expect to be the exception to the rule. They expect to get away with a lot of waywardness. They expect to get away with murder, basically. And your North Node runs contra parallel to Juno, and that points to basically you being in a relationship for the sake of being in a relationship, but it's not really what you need, perhaps. Also, your Mars is in Gemini and is conjoined to Venus in Gemini. Your Mars is at the 12th degree of Gemini, and that 12th degree deals with sacrifice and victimization. Your Venus is at the 11th degree. That echoes your life path number because 29 breaks down to 11. And that 11 is a number of conflict as well. It's a number, again, that can point to love triangles. To make matters worse, your Mars is conjoined to Venus and it's opposed to the asteroid Hera. And that asteroid Hera deals with jealousy, vindictiveness, insecurity in relationships, and it can point to where there's the other woman or where you're the other woman. And it can produce situations where you actually face off with the other woman or where you're the other woman and the main chick faces off with you. So this could actually be hairy situations that this aspect produces. I'll say this aspect configuration because when you add Hera into the mix and then also Icarus, because Venus is also opposed to Icarus, that could deal with you jumping into relationships, throwing caution to the wind. Your moon is in Sagittarius. I'm a Sagittarius, so I know all about that, about throwing caution to the wind, believing that love will conquer all. All that's some bullshit. Sagittarius can be very unrealistic, very impractical, and likes to just rush into things. So that is part of your problem as well. Also, what makes matters worse is your sun in Cancer is in square to Saturn and also the Aries South Node. And this can deal with, again, being with men that are not fully available to you. It can also deal with getting with men that are going to exploit you, abuse you in some way, where they can act like there's some type of authority over you, where they can be cold-hearted, sadistic even. And then going back to that North Node conjoined to Chiron. So that deals with you wanting to heal others, but you're going about it the wrong way because you should be trying to heal people regardless of what they mean to you. So if, you know, it seems like you're going about it the wrong way, like you're choosing a partner that's broken so you can heal this partner, but it's still coming from an egotistical, selfish intent. So any actions that you do in this lifetime, you have to check yourself because if it's coming from your ego, if it's coming from selfish intent, then a lot of times you're going to end up being disappointed. Now, with your North Node in Libra conjoined to Chiron, you're destined to be in relationships, but they're not going to be the traditional monogamous relationship that you're probably seeking. So that North Node conjoined to Chiron is really not conducive to marriage, even though the North Node's in Libra, unless, and this is the very interesting part, unless you got with a mate who was very ill, disabled, um, has some type of limitation, and therefore he would really need healing. So do you see how that works? Like either you get married, but you marry someone who is physically broken and who has some type of disability or he has some type of physical limitation, he may not be able to get it up. It could be a situation like that, but maybe your love is that strong where you can overlook that. But with your South Node in Aries, it may not be because you're coming from a past life of being very sexual, hypersexual even, very carnal, very bestial. So you got to move away from that bestial nature in this lifetime, but you still may be attracted to men that are very bestial, that are very aggressive, that are very carnal themselves. So a lot of your Aries South Node energy may be projected upon the men that you're dealing with. Also, with Sun square Saturn, there's a good chance that if you get married, you can lose your husband through an untimely death. So that's a really serious threat. So you have to take that into account as well. Again, you have heavy karma because your Saturn is conjoined to your Aries South Node. So the way you can mitigate a lot of this karmic debt is two ways. You can, again, try to avoid living through the dictates of your ego. So whenever you want something or you desire something, if you meet a guy and you want to fix him, you want to mend him or whatever, you got to check yourself and ask yourself, is this coming from my ego? Another thing you need to do is stay away from men that have strong Aries energy. So it's not just Aries suns, Aries moons, Aries ascendant. If his Mars is in Aries or if his Saturn's in Aries, If any planet, if he has any planet in Aries, and it's especially if it's close to your south node, that is the type of man you want to avoid, because you're going to be bringing upon unnecessary karma, unnecessary punishment upon yourself. Trust me, I know all about south node relationships. They are some of the worst. So if you can avoid them, I always say do. And this is a perfect segue into my upcoming workshop called Cosmic Coupling 101. It's about relationship astrology. So I still have some tickets left. It's taking place on June 30th. Um, so that's going to be next Saturday. So I'll leave the link in the description section. So Zia, you might want to take this workshop, because you'll learn even more about yourself as well as relationship astrology in general, because I'm going to be providing some tips on what to look out for when you meet a potential mate. So basically, I gave you the gist of it. If you have any questions, you can send me an email, or you could just leave a question in the comment section. And if anybody else would like a chance for a free reading for the month of June, which will take place next month, just leave your birth details along with a question, and you may get selected. And if you would like a reading, just go to my website at rabina.com. And I just wanted to sum things up, Zia, by saying that all is not lost. It's just that you have to change your perspective. And the Libra North Node deals with changing your perspective as well. And you have to basically understand that life, and this message is for everybody. Life isn't really so much about what you want all the time. It's about what you need. So a lot of times we forget that, and we go into relationships believing that we should get what we want, and that, we just, build this type of guy in our heads, and then he should show up, or build this type of woman and she should show up and fulfill all our needs. And yeah, we understand we're going to have struggles and relationship problems, but a lot of times we go into relationships with the wrong type of perspective, where basically it's like we need to fill something that is empty inside of us, where we're not taking into account that no, we partner up with people so that we can learn, we can grow, and we can evolve and become better souls. So just keep that in mind, and also keep in mind that a successful harmonious relationship is not guaranteed to anyone. It's definitely it's work, just like a lot of things in life. And depending on people's charts, some people just have it easier in the relationship department than others. You're one of those people that have it particularly challenging. You have it more challenging than I do, and I have it pretty challenging. So hopefully this will give you some this gave you some insight, and maybe even some peace of mind, because that's definitely what you need in this lifetime too, because you're coming from a lifetime of conflict, being very warlike, being very aggressive and all that stuff. So in this lifetime, you gotta make things more peaceful in your life. But by attracting these type of men, you're not going to be able to get that peace. And also, again, remember, you want to heal people, but don't do it from an egotistical perspective. Don't pick a guy believing that you're going to heal him. All that stuff has to go out the window. That never works. Trust me, I've been there, and I've been a fool for men because I thought I could fix them because they were broken, and not realizing that I was broken, actually. So you have to look at that as well. You're attracting these broken men that you want to heal, because there's something broken within you. So I'll leave you with that. Again, happy birthday. Peace and many blessings.